1. Florida panther killed by vehicle on I-75 in Pasco County, wildlife at risk. 2. Florida panther mortality update 2025, vehicle collisions and conservation efforts. 3. Tragic death of endangered Florida panther in Pasco County. 4. First endangered Florida panther death in Pasco County wildlife conservation. 5. Endangered Florida panther killed by vehicle in unexpected area wildlife conservation update. 1. Florida panther killed by vehicle on I-75 in Pasco County, wildlife at risk. Another tragic roadkill incident reminds us why wildlife conservation can't wait. A young male Florida panther was struck and killed by a vehicle last week along Interstate 75 in Pasco County, nearly 200 miles north of the species' primary habitat. This heartbreaking discovery on July 1 near Wesley Chapel marks the 9th panther road mortality in 2024 alone, exposing the harsh realities of human-wildlife conflicts. Here's what makes this case stand out: the 2 to 3-year-old big cat was found far beyond the panther's established territory south of the Caloosahatchee River. While young males occasionally roam north seeking new territory, like the famous 2008 case where one reached Georgia before being shot, this incident highlights an alarming pattern. Vehicle collisions now account for 90% of documented panther deaths this year, with only one fatality attributed to natural causes: the territorial fight with another panther. But here's the controversial truth many overlook: our expanding road networks are essentially creating ecological traps. Each new highway extension through wild areas like the State Route 56 corridor where this panther died fragments habitats and forces endangered species into dangerous crossings. Conservationists argue that wildlife bridges and dedicated corridors could prevent these tragedies, but implementation lags behind urban development plans. This raises urgent questions: should highway expansion projects in sensitive ecosystems require mandatory wildlife protections? Could this particular stretch of I-75 benefit from panther-specific warning systems or reduced speed limits during active hours? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe current conservation efforts adequately address these preventable deaths, or are we prioritizing infrastructure over biodiversity? Share your perspective in the comments. 2. Florida panther mortality update 2025, vehicle collisions and conservation efforts. Hashtag update on Florida panther mortality. ***, a critical update on the status of Florida panthers reveals alarming mortality rates that demand our attention. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, has refreshed the Panther Pulse webpage, providing the latest mortality data up to July 8, 2025, at noon. You can explore this information at Panther Pulse, https://myfwc.com. Wildlife habitats. Wildlife Panther Pulse UTM_content equals and UTM_medium equals email and UTM_name equals and UTM_source equals gov delivery and UTM_term equals campaign. Recently, the remains of a young male Florida panther, identified as UCFP 488, were discovered on July 1 along I-75 in Pasco County. This panther was approximately 2 to 3 years old, and preliminary investigations suggest that a vehicle collision was the likely cause of death. ***, have you ever encountered an injured or deceased panther? ***, if so, it's crucial to report such sightings to the FWC Wildlife Alert Hotline at 888-404-FWCC-3922. Timely reporting of these incidents enables panther biologists to respond quickly, which is vital for the health of the population. Additionally, examining the remains of panthers provides biologists with essential data that can inform conservation strategies. Residents of Florida have a unique opportunity to contribute to the conservation of these magnificent creatures by purchasing a Protect the Panther license plate. The proceeds from these sales serve as a primary funding source for the FWC's ongoing research and management efforts aimed at preserving the Florida panther population. You can find more information about this initiative at Protect the Panther license plate, https://myfwc.com. Wildlife habitats. Wildlife panther plate UTM_content equals and UTM_medium equals email and UTM_name equals and UTM_source equals gov delivery and UTM_term equals campaign. It's important to note that vehicle collisions remain the leading cause of death for Florida panthers. The FWC strongly urges drivers to reduce their speed and adhere to all posted speed limits, particularly in designated panther zones. These zones are strategically located in several counties throughout South Florida, where panthers are frequently observed crossing roads. By respecting these speed limits, we can help protect both the endangered Florida panther and the safety of motorists. But here's where it gets controversial. Are we doing enough to protect these animals? As we continue to witness the decline of the Florida panther population, it raises the question of whether current conservation efforts are sufficient. What do you think? Are there additional measures we should consider to ensure the survival of this iconic species? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 3. Tragic death of endangered Florida panther in Pasco County. The heartbreaking death of a critically endangered Florida panther marks a grim milestone. For the first time ever, Pasco County has recorded a panther fatality. This tragic event underscores the relentless threats facing this iconic species. A 2 to 3-year-old male panther, identified as UCFP 488 by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, was struck and killed by a vehicle on Interstate 75, just south of State Road 56. The discovery on July 1 shattered Pasco County's previous record of 0 panther deaths since FWC began tracking fatalities in 2014, a sobering reminder that vehicle collisions remain the primary killer of these rare cats. So far in 2025, vehicle collisions have claimed 9 of the 10 panther deaths statewide. The 10th death resulted from intraspecific aggression, a scientific term describing fights between panthers over territory or scarce resources. Here's where it gets controversial. Some conservationists argue habitat loss is forcing more panthers into dangerous encounters, while others claim population growth naturally increases territorial disputes. Collier and Hendry counties currently lead in 2025 fatalities with 4 vehicle-related deaths each. This follows 2024's alarming toll of 36 panther deaths, the second highest annual total since 2014. Vehicle collisions caused 29 of those losses, with trains, predation, and unknown factors accounting for the others. The deadliest years on record remain 2015 and 2016, tied at 42 deaths each. But here's what most people miss: you can directly support conservation efforts through Florida's Protect the Panther license plates. Fees from these plates provide crucial funding for panther research and management. To help, new buyers can visit their local tax collector office. Existing plates can be renewed online via the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. What's your take? Should Florida invest more in wildlife crossings, or are development priorities inevitably dooming this species? The FWC's mission is clear: manage this wildlife resource for its long-term well-being and the benefit of people. But achieving that balance sparks fierce debate. Share your perspective below. 4. First endangered Florida panther death in Pasco County Wildlife Conservation. Alarming reality: Florida's majestic panthers teeter on the brink, a recent tragedy in Pasco County. Imagine a Florida without the majestic roar of its state animal, the Florida panther. Unfortunately, this dire scenario is becoming increasingly plausible. A stark reminder of this looming threat came with the recent recording of Pasco County's first endangered Florida panther death this year. This heartbreaking incident marks the 10th known fatality of these elusive creatures in the state, sparking urgent concerns about their dwindling numbers. The victim, a young life cut short. The deceased panther, estimated to be merely 2 to 3 years old, represents a significant loss. At such a tender age, this male panther had barely begun to explore his territory, let alone contribute to the precarious population growth of his species. This raises a poignant question: what does the future hold for a species where youth is so fleeting? A state in mourning, the 10th fatality this year. This incident is not an isolated event but rather a symptom of a broader issue plaguing Florida. With 10 panther fatalities already recorded this year, the state is compelled to confront the harsh realities threatening its iconic wildlife. But here's where it gets controversial. Should the state's focus be solely on preserving natural habitats, or is it time to explore more radical conservation measures? Join the conversation. We invite you to share your thoughts on this critical issue. As a valued member of our community, your voice matters. Do you believe current conservation efforts are sufficient to protect the Florida panther? What innovative strategies could be employed to safeguard these magnificent creatures? Should the protection of the Florida panther supersede economic or developmental interests in the state? Engage with us. To contribute to this vital discussion, simply log in above or subscribe to our platform at https://subscribe.tampabay.com. Remember, your opinions are subject to our community guidelines, available at https://www.tampabay.com/community-guidelines. *** exclusive benefits for subscribers ***. As a subscriber, you'll gain unlimited access to our in-depth content, including the Tampa Bay Times e-newspaper, a digital replica of our printed edition, accessible on desktop, mobile, and our app. Subscribe now and stay informed about the issues that matter most to you. 5. Endangered Florida panther killed by vehicle in unexpected area wildlife conservation update. A young Florida panther's tragic death far from home reveals the hidden costs of wildlife conservation. This endangered apex predator, a male just 2 to 3 years old, was struck and killed by a vehicle on July 1 along Interstate 75 in Wesley Chapel, Tampa Bay area. But here's the shocking part: this marks the first documented Florida panther fatality in Pasco County since records began in 2014. Why is this location so surprising? Because Pasco County isn't even on Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's (FWC) map of known panther habitats. These big cats typically live exclusively in southwest Florida, south of Lake Okeechobee. Yet this incident proves their range might be expanding, or perhaps they are being forced into risky new territories. Controversial angle: should we celebrate this as a sign of population recovery or sound alarms about habitat fragmentation? While an FWC spokesperson confirms male panthers do occasionally roam far, sometimes even into Georgia, this case highlights a disturbing pattern. Records show similar unusual deaths, one in Hillsborough County, 2022, another in Polk County, 2022, and that Georgia case from 2008. All were young males under age 3. And this is the critical detail most people miss: panthers now face lethal highways because urban development has boxed them in. Roads now slice through their habitat, causing vehicle strikes to skyrocket over the past 20 years. Compounding the crisis, young males establishing territories cross roads most frequently. They account for 70% of all roadkill deaths. Paradoxically, the panther population has actually grown since 1995, when Texas pumas were introduced to fix genetic issues. But here's the bitter twist: more panthers mean more road fatalities. This Pasco County death was the species' 10th fatal strike this year alone. 7 were males. So we must ask, are current wildlife corridors enough to protect Florida's iconic big cats as development surges? What conservation strategies would you prioritize? Share your views below. Do we need stricter road regulations or expanded protected habitats?